As we enter the postseason here and get ready for state, it's important to ask yourself, do I deserve to win? And I'm not talking about working hard. Anybody who's watching this video or other videos is probably, you're working hard enough. So what I mean by deserving to win is this. Are you a competitor? Have you ever made a decision to win? One of our main goals in our practices and that we talk about in our academy and our camps is becoming great at winning. It's important that you master the skill of winning, and this is something I learned in college at Oklahoma State years ago. They said winning is a habit, but unfortunately so is losing. Get into the habit of winning, and you say, well, that's easier said than done. I'm not saying winning is easy, but it's probably 10 times easier than what you think. And since most of the competition isn't dedicated to winning, they're dedicated to working hard. And after they work hard, they feel good about themselves. But the people who win are the ones who sit and think about getting their hand raised. They have a game plan before the match. They have written down their strengths and weaknesses. They have their sort of wrestling philosophy. They know the positions in a wrestling mat that they're going to spend their time in and that they will avoid. You know, Jordan Burroughs will avoid wrestling from a collar tie underhook or wrestling ear to ear. He has to avoid those positions, but maybe a power wrestler would not avoid those positions. A power wrestler would avoid wrestling from the outside. So have you ever sat down and with a pen and paper and mapped out your system for wrestling? And have you picked your best setup to your best leg attack? And do you have a plan in place to drill that 1,000 times before the sectionals or the state tournament? Have you decided to give up on worry? That's something we talk about a lot in our practices. It's one of our mantras that we repeat. I want to win really bad. It means the world to me, but I refuse to stress out over it. A refusal is important. You must refuse to stress out over these worries and thoughts about the things that can happen. And you back that up by, in your mind, you want to have something to think about. So some people say, don't think negative. Well, you want to replace those thoughts. So a good example is this. If a NASCAR driver is thinking about dying in a fiery crash, and that could happen, he's not going to race very well. But if a NASCAR driver is thinking about crossing the finish line and 100,000 cameras flashing and standing on the top of his car and spraying champagne all over the ESPN cameras and all the money and fame that comes along with that, now that NASCAR driver is excited. So it's important that you have a piece of paper and you write down, these are the things that I'm going to think about, right? And you have a thought, and whenever you can find yourself thinking negatively, you want to immediately go back to those other thoughts, because your thoughts create emotion. And if you have good emotion, you're going to wrestle well. If you have bad emotion, you're not going to wrestle well. And you say, well, I really want to win. I want a guarantee. Give up. There is no guarantee. Get back to thinking about your good thoughts. Anytime your mind starts drifting about, wanting a guarantee or what if I don't win, those are negative. You only go back to home. Your home base is those thoughts that get you inspired and excited about competing. So at the end of the season here, the people who win are often the ones who deserve it most. And it's not the ones who work the hardest. It's the ones who had I am going to win plan. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do. This is where I'm going to spend my time, both wrestling-wise as well as in my thoughts. And I think that's going to help. So make sure you're in a position where you have a chance of success and where you deserve to win. Good luck.